0.
3. Hey guys, welcome back to Two Birds and a Third. This is DJ. We got Josh and Ricky here. We got the full crew here today to help celebrate our 1-year anniversary here on YouTube and Facebook. Guys, it's been a hell of a year. We've definitely seen some growth, but we have some stuff to talk about here on this 1-year anniversary. Even though we just have one game left in the football season, it's really one of the biggest games. And we have a lot to go in. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Just to list off a few, Hank, what would be, I guess, your biggest pet peeve right now for the Super Bowl? Something that you really want to happen.
My biggest pet peeve is not wearing white in the Super Bowl.
Well, Hank's a racist. We've already discovered that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I just don't understand what you have to complain about. You're in the Super Bowl. For God's sake, you're going to complain about what jersey?
You're gonna blame an article of clothing
Bill,
on losing.
The thing is, I've been waiting all year because the NFC's been the visiting team, and Bill Belichick, he outsmarted the competition yet again by having his Patriots wear white. I mean, I think that if once the Eagles got to wear white during the Super Bowl, they'd finally win.
I just don't see that. I just don't see why you would care. You've only been in one other Super Bowl.
No, we've been in 2 other Super Bowls.
2 other Super Bowls, sorry.
And every time we've worn green, we've lost.
All 3. So don't you guys have a black jersey?
Here's the thing.
We can't wear black.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, how many? You can't go based off of your team. How many other teams have won the Super Bowl wearing away colors or wearing home jerseys?
Only the Patriots.
I'm sure it's
12 out of the last 13 have worn away colors.
That's a pretty damning statistic. But Hank, really though, I'd be more worried about Nick Foles than your damn color of the jersey.
Why would you be worried about Nick Foles? In the last game alone, he was 26 for 33, 252 yards, and against the number 2 ranked defense in the NFL. It's one game against one of the top ranked defenses in the NFL.
Can you repeat that? Is the question.
Can he repeat that? We don't know. The other thing is, like, I'll be happy if Brady wins MVP because the MVP usually never wins the Super Bowl.
Except for Tom Brady.
No, he didn't win the.
No, I know, but this year he'll win.
Okay.
We know
who DJ's picking.
What was that?
We know who DJ's picking.
Everybody knows who I'm picking, and I mean it's really not going to be a secret. But the game. It just seems like it's a repeat of 07.
Which
Am
game?
I wrong?
Wait, which game?
The Super Bowl. It's going to be a repeat of 07.
It's a. What do you mean a repeat of 07?
The Giants
talk about the Patriots-Eagles Super Bowl.
Come on. The last time they played.
You mean 04?
They played in 04.
04. I'm sorry. I got my dates mixed up there. Sorry, guys. Fact check me. But anyways, it still feels like, I mean, they're underdog again. And they have one of the best players hurt, just like last time when they had T.O. hurt, even though he did play. Definitely wasn't 100% though. I don't know. I don't know. The Patriots defense is sneaky good. The
referees.
Oh God, the referees. You're right.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
What was that statistic that I think Hank, you commented on Mike Ice's profile when he was going all in on the referees?
Yeah.
The last time a team only had one penalty in a playoff game was the Patriots in 2006.
Yeah, so I mean these statistics.
I want to bring up an interesting. I don't know if this is a coincidence or just weird. So in 01, New England beat an NFC West team in the St. Louis Rams. In 03, they beat the Carolina Panthers, an NFC South team. And then in 2004, they beat the Eagles, an NFC East team. Now, 2014, they beat Seattle, an NFC West team. In 2016, they beat Atlanta, an NFC South team. And in 2017, they're going to be facing Philadelphia another time. It is very weird. Like, I'm not saying that just...
I mean, it's not really that weird.
Well, I mean, it's pretty coincidental they're going in a circle. It just keeps rotating.
I mean, that's how the Patriots dynasty started.
Ricky, that's a great statistic to have if you have someone who's betting. Because then they're going to ride that.
Well, yeah, because obviously we know the Pats were going to win from the start. I mean...
Oh, well, I did say that I think they're going to get their 6th Super Bowl.
What did I say? What did I say? I said, what was it before conference champion? Before the games, I said if New England gets there, they're going to win, regardless of who they face.
I think it's going to.
It makes me so angry that you say that. Like, what kind of football person? You're not even a Patriots fan, and he's
a fan of Tom Brady. He's a fan of Tom.
Me off too?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, it's ridiculous that you're literally not giving another NFL team a semblance of a chance. Like, you just have.
Let me explain. Look, did we not see what happened last year? Did we not see what happened last year?
For him. Even Joe Montana lost in the Super Bowl when he went to the Chiefs.
No, he
didn't go to the Super Bowl.
He never went to a Super Bowl with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
He went to an
he
went to an AFC championship game and lost.
AFC championship, yeah.
He lost.
It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you've done. You can lose any given Sunday. And to just completely write off an Eagles team that's played incredibly well all year and last week proved that even without their MVP quarterback, Carson Wentz, who I would have voted for MVP if he didn't get hurt, he probably would have had an MVP. He probably would have won an MVP. I do not think it's fair that you're just writing this team off just because Tom Brady is going to be going to the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles stack up incredibly well. And last week, the Jaguars almost had it. And you said that the Jaguars were going to get stomped on.
But hey, they came back and won. They do it every time. If you look at their previous history in the playoffs, whenever they were down double digits, and I believe the last 4 times that happened, they came back and beat that team. The last 4 times it occurred, and this was another year that added on.
They've also had teams come back on them when being down by double digits. They've lost,
and that's the Giants, and that's the
Ravens did it when they beat them.
It was
the Giants were
never. The
Giants
Ravens came back from 14 points down.
The point I'm trying to get at is that the Patriots have been there. Under Brady, this is his 8th time going, right? Like them and Belichick, this is the 8th time they're going together.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My thing is this: the Eagles. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout. Please don't get that twisted. The thing I'm trying to get at is that you're going up against a team that's been to the Super Bowl 8 times. Okay, you're a team that's coming back, and coincidentally, you faced this team before, but it was a completely different team for the Eagles.
Wasn't this? You didn't face this. You faced the logo before.
Yeah,
this not even the same
but
thing.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to get at. Is like with the team though, like the Patriots, they've been there so many times. I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots won. I wouldn't be surprised. Would I be surprised if the Philly won? No, because considering they've been an underdog the whole season.
But now you're backtracking because you literally said
listen.
before there's no chance. You said whoever. You said if the Patriots make it, it doesn't matter who they play.
And I'm still going with that.
It's a hot take. Hot take.
No, I'm still going with that. I'm just letting you know. I'm not going to be shocked. Like you make it.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles won.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's just a take. But Ricky, what do you think they're going to get blown out?
Who the Eagles?
I think, guys, we should just tell our picks right now. It's just we're sitting
down
here.
No.
Oh man,
let's
take time.
Let's go to. I mean, this is a great discussion on the Patriots and what might happen in the Super Bowl. But let's leave the Super Bowl talk to next week.
Put a top on it.
Yeah.
Put it up on the shelf.
Let's talk about the conference championship games that went on Sunday. Starting with the Jacksonville Jaguars going to the New England Patriots. They stated it as David versus what's his name? The guy from Con Air. What's his name?
Oh,
the bald guy,
one?
Cyrus the Virus.
Cyrus the
Virus coined it David versus Goliath, and I'd say at the very beginning of that game it was starting to be like that. I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars were playing stout. They were playing tough. They were getting after the Patriots. The Patriots, I think, scored a field goal, and the score was 14-3 right before halftime. Brady threw a touchdown, and then the Jaguars got a touchdown, and then it was all downhill from there for Jacksonville. What do you guys think happened there?
Well, I think what happened is kind of what Ricky had talked about earlier, is that the Patriots this has kind of been their MO. I mean, even in a lot of the Super Bowls, they have started from behind. And for some reason, the second half, Bill Belichick finds a way. He sees what they're doing and encounters that and outsmarts the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator on the other side. It's tough to bet against that. I picked the Jaguars to win this game. I thought it was going to happen. I even told Joe, who was sitting there, who's on the show that I was on recently, and we might actually show that a little bit at the end of the show today if you guys want to hear it. But he was betting on the under on that game, and it was close. I think that it ended up being like 20.
He got the under because he guessed 46 and it was 44.
Yeah, so he won his bet, but he was sweating over there. But I just couldn't help shake the feeling when I was watching that game that Tom Brady was just going to find a way. There was one Patriots fan at Hooters where we were at. That was it, just one.
Let me put it to you this way.
There's always just one Patriots fan.
This is what kind of perplexes me, is the fact that and at this stage of Brady and Belichick's careers, they've just been to the playoffs so many times. They just know what they're doing. And it's just I cannot fathom how many times they've been able to do it. Yes, they've had laid some eggs against some teams along the road that they've been going on. But I will tell you, was I surprised that Tom Brady came back and did what he did? No, I wasn't surprised by that at all. The thing is sometimes, I'm not saying the Jags did this per se, but I'm referring to some other teams. People think that beating the Patriots is some complicated thing. It really isn't. Bill Belichick just simplifies things. Like, people think he's a genius, which, yeah, he's incredibly intelligent. He knows what he's doing. But he literally simplifies his offense and makes it so it's plug and play with certain players. And people want to get cute and think we should try to outsmart Belichick when Belichick's just like...
It's also the fact that, in their earlier era, they were like a defensive-minded football team, and they believed in like run concepts. But now they're basically a West Coast offense, and Brady throws the ball 40, 50 times a game. I think they only ran the ball, even attempted to run the ball 14 times against Jacksonville, which is just amazing. It's like
you always see these statistics about how Tom Brady threw for, you saw something like he threw for over 40 attempts or something like that, more than any other person in the playoffs. And it's a cool statistic, but it just kind of shows you that the Patriots themselves aren't necessarily a great team. It's just Tom Brady wills it at the end of the day. I mean, he has the ability to just take control. And here's the thing. It's kind of Tom Brady, but then you also have to look at it as it always seems like there's a costly mistake at the perfect moment, or a call that's just kind of that was a clear fumble. Why did you blow the whistle on a fumble six?
It's a lot of coincidence that happens.
We'll get into this another day, but that's one of my least favorite rules in the NFL is that, okay, you blow the whistle dead, and I get it, but if it's a clear shot like that, and there's no one around him,
those officials,
why are you taking away 6 points from the Jacksonville Jaguars? It would have been there was no one else around.
That's a tough thing to call, to try to make a judgment call on that, and they definitely want to put that. I know it's common sense, but
those officials
you can't just have the rule. You can't just have the rule open sometimes.
Here's how I look at it. What is the rule they made in the NFL? Every turnover is reviewed. Regardless of if it was a fumble or not, it would have been not only turnovers, scoring plays are reviewed too. So if you just let that play out, Completely different outcome.
So you're saying you're calling conspiracy.
I'm not calling conspiracy.
No, because,
I'm calling a
because
complete 100% blown call. There's a difference. I don't think the refs are
your
sitting there.
tinfoil hats on.
No, because here's what I felt.
I don't think the refs are sitting there texting Tom Brady saying, when should we give a call in the Patriots' favor?
Yeah,
I don't think that's happening. I just do think that why is it that every time the Patriots win a close game, aside from the Atlanta Falcons game where they just gave that up last year in the Super Bowl, there's always some sort of questionable, like, how literally how could you let that happen?
I agree with you when it comes to that call. I felt like that was one of the worst that was out of all the calls that were made and all the calls that people are questioning. I felt like that was the real turning point in the game, because I think one of the reasons why they called it dead was because, first and foremost, I think originally they called the Dion Lewis, I think it was, down by contact, but then they overturned it last second, like before the challenge or the review was made. I think there was just a lot of confusion there, because I think that when the guy scooped it up, he like spiked it, like he could have just ran into the end zone, but he kind of spiked it thinking that, oh, he was down by contact, which I know the way I just explained it was kind of confusing, but that was the thought process that I had. I mean, I thought they were gonna make it a no fumble, because I mean, every single review that they had made all season has gone the Patriots' way, whether it's been a good call or a bad call, you know? That was just my personal thought process. And yeah.
Oh, good.
But
just real quick. I mean, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Josh. And Hank. It's all something that is like it's just an odd coincidence.
Yeah.
I do want to give you a couple. It was just one example. I'll refer back to the morning show for 95.7 The Game. They did a comparison. They split Tom Brady's career in half, and they did a blind test basically, where the two co-hosts didn't know that they split. They just gave quarterback A and quarterback B. They didn't tell them that they split Tom Brady's career in half. And basically, if you looked at it, both of those, quarterback A and B, and when you look at Tom Brady's career split in half, it's 2 Hall of Fame careers.
It really
is.
Both
said,
yeah,
it's 2 Hall of Fame careers. So it's that kind of puts it in perspective what we're dealing with here.
Let me put it into perspective, because the Patriots are about to accomplish something if they win that is unprecedented, and that's having a team win 3 out of 4, not 3 out of 4, but win 3 Super Bowls in 4 years in 2 decades.
Yeah.
With the same now keep in mind, with the same coach and the same quarterback.
Yeah.
Literally, that is 2 dynasties.
It is unprecedented.
But this is what's gonna kind of. It's interesting to see what's gonna happen if Tom happens to retire. I don't know if he will.
No.
If Belichick decides to leave, because let me put it to you this way: if they decide to call it quits, which I'm not saying they will, if they do, the AFC now opens up as wide as the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, I can't see that happening, man. I think winning cures all. If they win the Super Bowl this year, they're just going to be hugging like, what are we doing, man? That was stupid what we did, but we still won a Super Bowl.
I don't think so. Belichick doesn't have feelings.
No, he does. He smiled. He smiled when he won the AFC Championship game, but then he immediately regretted it.
Yeah,
so
DJ, but he also made out with his daughter once, so.
What?
Yeah, you've never seen the picture of him, like, basically
mouthing his daughter?
Yeah. You've never
is
seen
he
that
sticking tongue? Is he playing console hockey with his daughter?
It's weird. It's like a picture, and his tongue is in her mouth.
Is he like the Donald Trump of the NFL?
It's like he was it's like he was going for cheek. They were both going for cheek, but they got like mouth.
Is that what the expression tongue and cheek comes from?
But I think that at the very end of it, the reason why the Patriots are so dominant is because they'll either they beat weak teams with their offense, and they do it very well. They outsmart weak teams, and then when it comes to strong teams, they wait for the strong team to make a mistake, and then they just capitalize on it. That's their MO.
And that's it, dude.
Exactly.
That's it. That's what they do at halftime. They could be down. It could go. It just takes to the fourth quarter. As long as they have a 18-point deficit by the fourth quarter, they can still come back from that.
I also attribute that to, like you guys were saying earlier, it's not that hard to outsmart the Patriots. It's most of the time coaches outsmart themselves.
Yeah, they go in and they're like,
okay, we have a lead. We need to play conservative.
Run the ball.
No. What got you to the lead was playing the way you played. You played to win the game. You do not play not to lose. You play to win. And I feel like every time I watch these teams go into halftime, I end up seeing they come out so vanilla. And I'm like, you guys, you have the lead and you're against the Patriots. Step on their goddamn throats and end this. And no one does.
Because
they always come out and they're like, okay, we're winning. Let's run the ball. Play conservative.
Because the issue...
The only time you do that is when you, if there's, 10 minutes left in the game and you're up by, 3 scores, then you can do that. But, and perfectly clear, to beat New England, I know it's more... Okay, literally, you just got to play man and just pay... You got to just pay attention to what they're doing, because what they love to do is flea flickers sometimes and just a lot of the dump offs and screens.
And they like to run. And
what you got to do is you can't play that prevent. You can't play that prevent zone.
You got to destroy prevent.
No, that's what they do, and they do it by getting it out to, like you said, screens, dump offs in the flats. But because all these guys are playing back in these zones, you end up freeing up all this space, and it's just.
Yeah,
I agree with you guys completely. It's not that hard to outsmart the Patriots. It's every single coach who goes against them is so scared, it seems like, that they are outsmarting themselves.
And it's especially the fact that the Patriots are no longer that dominant defense. They just
they're sneaky, Hank. They're sneaky.
No, they are sneaky, but the Patriots are an offensive-minded football team to the core.
But they turnovers.
Of course they do. No, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's all Tom Brady needs.
You know what it is? It's because these teams aren't putting the pressure to the pedal, and they're not gassing it, and so then what the Patriots do is they make it close, and then other teams are like, oh, now we need to step on the gas, and they start getting anxious and start
and they make mistakes. That is exactly what happened. Instead of just keeping their foot on the gas and going for it, they just let up. The Patriots come back within it, and then that's when they're like, "Oh shit! Now we need to make a play," and then they don't.
Yeah,
this is what happens. This is what happened in Super Bowl 51. The minute New England scored that, I know they kicked. I think they kicked a field goal or two, and then they started scoring. That's when Atlanta started to panic. I believe after New England started scoring that first touchdown, they're like, oh, snap, they just scored. I think we got to go back. That's the issue, is that you just got to put the pedal to the metal. Heck, you just got to – when they are down, you have to keep attacking them. Do what you've been doing, because clearly, yes, I understand, but here's what's the thing. If you fail, say, for example, you're aggressive and they get a turnover off you, that's when you start to change your game plan. You don't change it until it fails. That's what annoys me.
You also have to understand, and I think we should move on to the next game after this.
Yeah.
Great, guys.
Matt Bryant also missed a key field goal in that game. After Julio Jones caught that sideline catch. And I felt like that was the biggest thing in the game, besides the Matt Ryan fumble.
And no one talks about it.
They all talk about Matt Ryan.
They all talk about
exactly.
Matt Ryan couldn't beat Tom Brady.
Shanahan,
number 1 pick.
Coward.
You guys couldn't do it. No, it comes down to put 9 points on the board and see what the game would have been like.
You know what? Let's put it this way, guys. Just to end this on this, Hank, is we sit here and talk about this, but we can never understand what goes through people's minds actually during that time.
Yeah,
I could imagine it's pretty it's a mental mind carousel. It's just you can't comprehend it, but I love being able to talk about it because I didn't have to stand in that situation. Right?
All right, let's move on to the next game. So the next conference championship game, it was interesting. I mean, Minnesota. So it's Minnesota versus Philly. Minnesota looks like they're firing on all cylinders on the first drive, and then they hit the deck and they fall and they crash and burn. So 38 unanswered points, and so I guess to start off my opinion on what occurred, Minnesota had the momentum, and then after that pick six, it just fell through the ground.
Yeah,
and they never recovered from that.
They lost everything on that one. It was, like it was really promising, and I was slumping in my chair, and then, Robinson caught that interception for a touchdown, and I was just like all hyped. And you know, I give the defense credit. I give, the running game and Nick Foles and the game plan as a whole credit. The fans for being wild during the game, of course. But yeah, that's
everything we talked about last week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought the score was going to be like 23-20. I mean, I had to pick my team, but I didn't think that they would score 38 points, or I didn't think they would score 31 points against the best defense in the conference.
So, do you think, Hank? Do you think that he's got 7 in him for this week?
No, he used them all up.
He used them all up back in
well, good thing, DJ. He doesn't need it this week because we have the Pro Bowl.
Exactly.
Next 2 weeks. My bad.
The Pro Bowl,
he might not have it this week though. That's fine if he doesn't have it this week.
The Pro Bowl, which Nick Foles.
He throw his number of touchdowns.
Nick Foles.
That's what.
Nick Foles was the MVP, the offensive MVP for one of the Pro Bowls that he's been to.
How happy would you be, Hank, if Nick Foles wins the Super Bowl MVP and wins the Super Bowl? I mean, how ecstatic! I mean, your man pillow will have.
We might have to get him a new man pillow.
He's gonna have a hole through the mouth at this point.
Let me just put it to you this way.
Hold on, real quick, Hank, Ricky. Let's get him one of those sex robots, right?
Oh my God!
No, DJ, no.
Let me just put it to you this way. Be careful because you know the Patriots. You know what they like to do, and I guarantee you that Nick Foles and I'm not trying to wish bad on him because I hope it's a good game. But let me just put it to you this way: if Nick Foles is the reason they lose this game, he will be like crucified in Philly.
Oh, well, okay. Probably. But here's what I'll give. Here's what I'll give the Eagles over the Jaguars in their most recent game, and over the Titans, and basically over the last few teams the Patriots have faced, is that the Eagles can beat you without relying on a running game. And I think that's where the difference comes from. The Tennessee Titans, what did everyone talk about going into that game? Derrick Henry, DeMarco Murray. The Jaguars, what did everyone talk about? Leonard Fournette and TJ Yeldon and Blake Bortles just being serviceable. Like, that's the thing. Plus, I think that the Eagles have a way better receiving core than the Jaguars do. And the Eagles defense, on top of that, is still good. I mean, you're talking about an Eagles team offensively who was 3rd in the league in points per game with 28.6. It was 7th in yards per game. The pass yards per game was in 6th place, and the rush yard were both in 13th place with pass yards being 233 and rush yards being 132. It's a balanced football game. Nick Foles went 26 for 33 last week with 352 yards and 3 touchdowns because he got his receivers involved, like I was talking about last week. If you get Torrey Smith, look at what Torrey Smith can do. He did what he needed to do. I wish he could have this team
pass.
Is.
I was ready.
What was that, Hank?
I was ready to curse his name out after he dropped that first pass. I was so pissed.
Yeah, I know.
But I think that the key to this game, I think the key for the Eagles is pretty simple. I mean, offensively for Nick Foles. He has to get the ball into the end zone. I don't think this team is going to be able to win. I don't think this team is going to be able to win a 17 to 14 point game. You gotta score more touchdowns than that, in my opinion. You know.
Hank, you kind of broke up there on me. I don't have any idea what you said at the end there.
I said you're gonna have to score. You're not gonna be able to get away winning this game 17 to 14. You're gonna have to score way more points on the board against the Patriots. Nick Foles has to get the ball into the end zone again, like he did before.
Yes. Yeah. And I think he can do that, though. And I think with that receiving core that you guys have, and not just your receiving core, but, I mean, no one talks about it, but Jay Ajayi had 18 carries for 73 yards, but he was strong. And here's the thing. I don't need Jay Ajayi to break off a 60-yard run. What I need him and LeGarrette Blount to do is churn out 3 to 4 yards a carry and make things manageable. On first down, if you can take a shot. You don't get it, okay, hand it off on second down. 4 yards, I like that way more than trying to throw it again on second down and having, 3rd and 10. It's much better that you have these guys in the run game and these guys that – and the offensive line, and we'll talk about one of the offensive linemen when we get to the Pro Bowl, but I think that this offensive line – they've only allowed 31 sacks on Nick Foles all year. Or quarterback, sorry, not Nick Foles, but Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. They've only allowed 31 sacks all year. Yeah. It's one of the best marks in the league. So
yeah, and I mean, listen, Josh. To your point, the running game is very important. But there is one other aspect of the running game that you forgot to mention, and that I think is going to be the key against the Patriots defense. If Ajayi could get the same amount of carries, the same amount of touches that he did last week, get 70 to 90 yards, 3 to 4 yards of carry, that sets up the play action pass, and that's where you get your desserts. That's how you make your money is the play action pass. That's what the Browns can't do for Jack Kraft. So play action is so important, especially against this defense that is the Patriots, because they will bite. And they've been known to give up a lot of points.
Especially because they know teams are going to try to tee off on the run game because that's how they want to beat the Patriots.
Let me put it to you this way. If I'm the Eagles, say, for example, the Eagles are up like 14-7 at halftime, right? If you're the Eagles, you better hope to God you are not changing anything with your game plan, as long as it's like, if you're watching the game, they got to change up something, obviously.
Doug Peterson's a new coach. So you think he's going to get all flustered against Bill Belichick?
Yes.
I think he might.
I think he's gonna like. Well, this is what I think is gonna happen. I know this is very early, and I don't want people to, crucify me. I think the Eagles will strike first. They'll get on the board first, right? Yeah, then the Patriots are gonna come back, and then they're gonna crush their hopes and dreams. But not because of the Patriots being good, but because the Eagles will play themselves. I'm not trying to say that as a Cowboys fan, quote unquote hater of the Eagles. I'm saying that because if you look at history, right, a lot of these teams just play themselves. If you look at the previous 2 Super Bowls, the Patriots have been in Super Bowl 49, Seahawks. I don't know what the frig they did. You didn't run the ball. But,
you play to run the ball.
You look at Super Bowl 51.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons completely played themselves, and they had an epic collapse because, number one, they played themselves, but also the Patriots had to play perfect, okay? Then, this game, if you're the Eagles, you cannot let off the gas because the minute you do, or you try to get cute and you try to do stupid crap, that's where you lose.
Yeah.
The Eagles
that's
don't
what I think is going to happen.
Collapse. They don't collapse. They just lose outright in the Super Bowl. It's just...
No.
I will say, though, I haven't seen the Eagles get really, collapse all season,
No,
they played.
Yeah, but they said that about the Falcons last year, and look what happened.
Yeah, but the Falcons had collapsed a few times last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not saying,
the Super Bowl, obviously, but you know what I meant.
I'm not saying that that's going to be anything, but I think we should get to the Pro Bowl. Talk about the Pro Bowl.
Yes.
Hank.
Yeah.
Can you just do me a favor real quick?
Yeah, what's up?
sound a little more excited for your team going to the Super Bowl.
No, he's saving it. He's saving it for his favorite segment, and he's going to go in, and he's going to go in hard.
I am very excited. Although I will have to say,
That's very convincing.
I'll say this: the game, I watched the game. The whole game was, besides the first part, and the whole time, even when they were up 24-7 and there were Eagles fans getting tickets for the Super Bowl, I was still like, dude, it's not over yet, because I don't want.
Why aren't you going to the Super Bowl, Hank? Huh?
What?
Huh?
Hey, you want to know something crazy? Did you know the last time the Eagles went on a Super Bowl run back in 2004, they beat the Vikings and the Falcons as well?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
This year was river.
And
so you know what that
this is that leads to my point. Like this is just the same thing, just a different year,
Different outcome then.
No, it's a fucking cycle.
It's going to be
a vicious cycle.
No, it's going to be a ripple.
No, if you know history, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. The Eagles are going to get up on the board first, then the Patriots are going to come back. Nick Foles is going to throw 3 interceptions, and people are going to crucify him, and that's what's going to happen.
I just think you're lucky that Hank is not in New Jersey with you.
As long as he doesn't puke. As long as Nick Foles doesn't puke on the field.
Can you imagine if he did?
Coin toss.
But yeah, let's.
And Gene Skeletor messes up the coin toss.
Skeletor,
a piece of paper index card to flip the coin.
Yeah, Skeletor does the coin flip with an index card.
Real quick, can I get you guys' take on the Skeletor doing the
Skeletor?
What is he doing? Is he doing the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, I think Gene Steratore is the best referee in the entire crew. Just kidding.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I actually hate him.
That's a hot take right there.
No. I still hate him because of the Des Bryant catch no catch crap. But anywho.
Oh man.
I honestly, as long as he's consistent, that's all I care about. Just please be consistent.
He's gonna pat Tom Brady on the ass just like the last guy did.
And he's gonna give him oral in the locker room.
Oh yeah, that's right. They give him oral at halftime. That's why he's rejuvenated when he comes.
All right, so let's talk about the Pro Bowl. On that note, let's discuss.
Yes.
You want to do Pro Bowl or coaching hires first?
Let's do Pro Bowl first. And then
let's do Pro Bowl first.
So we were gonna run down the Pro Bowl and very briefly, and then discuss who we thought were Pro Bowl snubs and why. So let's start with the AFC. At quarterback, the current quarterbacks are Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, and Derek Carr. Does that sound good to you guys? Do you think there were any
No, because
quarterbacks?
Tom Brady didn't want to go.
Do you think no? Because he can't go. He's in the Super Bowl. Are there any quarterbacks that you felt like deserved to go in the AFC other than those guys?
Alex Smith.
No.
Yeah, Alex Smith should have gotten it.
He was 6th in total passing with 4,042 yards. He had 26 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, a 104.7 passer rating, and a 67.5% completion percentage. And you're telling me he doesn't deserve to go to the Pro Bowl?
Well, it depends on if those other guys that couldn't go. I mean, over Derek Carr, yes, he should be going over Derek Carr.
That's my question.
That's my question.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, Alex Smith is the answer. Running backs: Le'Veon Bell, Kareem Hunt, and LaShawn McCoy. I thought that was pretty fair. I don't think there's anyone besides possibly Melvin Gordon.
That's what I was about to say. Why doesn't Melvin Gordon deserve it?
He might have deserved it over McCoy, but not over Hunt and not over Bell.
Not over Hunt and not over Bell. Bell's the definite number 1, but I would say Kareem Hunt probably number 2. But number 3, I would have put Melvin Gordon in there.
Yeah,
definitely as a number 3 in the AFC. I would have put him over.
Or what's his name? Kenyon Drake, right?
Kenyon Drake.
Yeah,
I just don't think he didn't produce. He didn't produce enough throughout the season. Maybe because Melvin didn't finish the season that strong.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's not considered. But that guy carried the Chargers to a few of their wins.
Real quick, guys. On that note, I think that's why more running backs. We're not mentioning more running backs because a lot of teams nowadays are just doing the tandem thing.
Yeah,
you know, the Tevin Coleman and.
Tevin Coleman and
Devontae Freeman.
But we will soon see quite later how 2 running backs from the same team ended up making the Pro Bowl. We thought that was only possible on Madden. So the wide receivers, Antonio Brown, DeAndre Hopkins was replaced by Jarvis Landry. AJ. DeAndre Hopkins I think he had surgery or something. AJ Green, Keenan Allen, and T.Y. Hilton replaced AJ Green. So it's Antonio.
Okay, so I got to try.
Brown.
I know Juju came in late, but he had a hell of a late coming. So I think Juju earned a spot in that amount of time. To tell you the truth.
I disagree.
I think Juju played well, but I don't think he had a lot of touchdowns.
Not a Pro Bowl nod. Not a Pro Bowl nod.
I just no. I had a lot of production very short amount of time.
You know, I'm okay with wide receivers. There wasn't really a wide receiver in the AFC this year, besides obviously Antonio Brown, because he killed it every year.
Hopkins was really good too, and so was Keenan Allen. So was Keenan Allen.
Oh yeah, no, but
yeah, he's a beast.
I mean, Hank. What I'm not talking about is like in the AFC, no one like blew you away this year. Yeah. I mean, there were guys who were good for part of the season, but I'm okay with that wide receiver list for the AFC. Yeah. I mean. Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Tight ends, Travis Kelce, and Delaney Walker. Hold on, Delaney.
No, Travis Kelce.
Okay, currently it's just Delaney Walker. Right.
Yeah, because he's replacing Travis Kelce,
and nobody's replaced Gronkowski according to this list. So right now it's Delaney Walker.
So who do we think are tight ends in the AFC that deserve maybe a Pro Bowl nod?
What about the guy from the Chargers?
Hunter Henry.
Possibly.
What about Clay?
Oh yes, Charles Clay. Yes.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, he was a beast
earlier this year. He was really well. My gripe was going to be because when I first looked at this up, I thought Delaney Walker didn't make it, and that made me mad because Delaney Walker had a really good season this year as a tight end. I guess you could argue, actually, the Ravens' Benjamin Watson, he had over 800 receiving yards, about 70 receptions, had 4 or 5 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
Decent. I mean, but that's not everyone's going to put up numbers like Rob Gronkowski and Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
I hate Travis Kelce. I know.
Fullback Roosevelt Nix replaced James Devlin.
No one cares about the fullback position.
I care about the fullback position.
Lorenzo Neal.
No, the fullback position is one of the greatest positions in the NFL because if you have a good fullback, you run the ball really well.
Notice that Jusnick over at with the Niners. I call him Jusnick.
I know. He's a fullback.
Yeah, they're about to have one hell of an offense with him back there, and they're about to draft another running back because they're probably going to let him go. But that's the fullback position is very important.
I want Saquon.
Saquon going to the Browns. Browns getting Sam Darnold and Saquon.
Don't you dare ruin him.
So tackles, guards, and centers. I'll say them all at once. Alejandro Villanueva, Taylor Lewan, Donald Penn, Russell Okung, Kaleski Osemele, David DeCastro, Richie Incognito, and then Marquise Pouncey and Rodney Hudson.
So literally everybody on the Steelers' offensive line.
Basically everyone on the Steelers and Raiders.
Donald Penn is the only reason Donald Penn's on there is because what he did last year. Not this past year, but the year before that.
It's basically the Raiders and the Steelers.
He held out, and he wasn't that good. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Derek Carr was sacked an abnormal more times more this year than last year, and I don't know how that offensive line is getting rated as well as they did.
Yeah.
Okay, defense. Let's just go through Joey Bosa, Calais Campbell, Khalil Mack, Cameron Hayward, Yannick Ngakwe, Geno Atkins, Jarrell Casey, Malik Jackson, Von Miller, Jadeveon Clowney, T. Slugs, Telvin Smith, C.J. Mosley, Ryan Shazier, Joe Schubert, A.J. Bouye, Jalen Ramsey, Aqib Talib, Casey Hayward, Eric Weddle, Rashad Jones, and Micah Hyde. And the only one that I
have a freaking Pro Bowler.
The only thing that I didn't agree with was Aqib Talib.
Me too.
Yeah, I could agree.
I agreed with most of all those positions.
I would have put AJ Bouye.
No, AJ Bouye is. Oh,
I also agree.
AJ Bouye is in it.
Oh, okay.
Everyone else seems really good. I mean, you might have a snub here and there, but those are good players.
Yeah.
And then punter Brett Kern, kicker Chris Boswell, return specialist.
Chris Boswell deserves it.
Oh yeah,
he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Tyreek Hill deserved it, and Matthew Slater. What's his name should have gone. The Ravens kicker.
You know what? Justin Tucker. He got snubbed. But also, the punter from the Browns got snubbed because you know what? He had the most action out of any punter in the league. You're not
shut up. You guys got one Pro Bowler. Just deal. No, I'm kidding.
Tim Cook, the punter for the Ravens, should actually make a case for it too because he had more kicks inside the 10-yard or the 20-yard line, the 10-yard line, and the 5-yard line than any other punter.
You know what? I just take him out because he doesn't know how to spell his name. Okay, it's not how Cook is spelled. It's Koch. That's his last name.
Well, if you know who the Koch brothers are, they spell their name C-O or K-O-C-H. Which I write that name on the board in my classroom, and my students like giggle because they're like, "You just wrote a bad word."
I want to be in your class.
All right, so the NFC quarterbacks: Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, and Jared Goff.
That's pretty fair.
That's pretty fair, seeing as though there were a lot of injuries taking place.
What?
There was that's a good list because considering Wentz got injured and Rodgers got injured.
Okay,
Keenum
time out. Can we do this? Can we talk about who's originally supposed to be in the Pro Bowl, not who's coming in as an alternate?
Okay, because then it's Carson Wentz and not Jared Goff replaced Carson Wentz.
What about Case Keenum?
Yeah.
Case Keenum, he doesn't have the draw, and neither is he as big as Wilson had the most passing touchdowns. I think Drew Brees had one of the most.
Oh, Brees. He should be the starter.
You have to put
in all
Brees
honesty,
in,
Russell Wilson makes a case for MVP because of how much he carried the Seahawks team.
Yeah. Running back. Todd Gurley, Alvin Kamara, and Mark Ingram, both from the New Orleans Saints.
Wow. Who would have thought the Saints would have two running backs go to the Pro Bowl? I know they got Michael Thomas going too, but
to me, that's a good list because the NFC really didn't have that great of running. I mean, you would put Zeke in if he had played. But he got
season. If he had not got suspended, he would have definitely been on the list.
Suspended, he might have gone over one of those guys. Over either Kamara or Ingram, but you just didn't have a lot of good running backs in the NFC, and also because David Johnson got injured.
What about Lamar Miller? Oh, he's on the AFC. Sorry,
Lamar Miller is on the Texans.
I know. I corrected myself.
Wide receivers: Julio Jones, I'm hooked on an Adam Thielen. Michael Thomas, Larry Fitzgerald, and Devontae Adams replaces Julio Jones.
Hey, okay, Chris. Thanks, Berman. I like that. Nice job,
I like that. I like that list.
I love Julio Jones. He didn't have a very good year though.
Yeah,
I don't know how the frick Julio got.
He wasn't so good in the red zone.
Did Michael Thomas get on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Thomas. Okay. He was a pick right there. Tight ends. Zach Ertz was replaced. Jimmy Graham, Jason Witten replaces Ertz, and Kyle Rudolph replaces Jimmy Graham. So it's Jason Witten and Kyle Rudolph. And
Witten didn't have that great of a year, but he's just
honest. To be honest, I don't know how he got on there, but hey,
I think
it's because of his name. It's because he's Jason Witten.
It's because he's he's like the best. Because he's a Hall of Famer, is why.
He's the most balanced tight end in NFL history.
He's a security blanket, is what he is.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Antonio, hey, guys, don't forget about Antonio Gates. That dude's still playing too. Still putting up some numbers.
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Out route in the NFL, but still catches the ball.
Exactly.
Fullback is Juszczyk, and I think he played well at fullback at the very end of the year.
There's only like 2 teams that have a fullback, I think, now. So I think he just gets it on.
A lot of teams use their tight ends as fullbacks, as just downhill runners. So tackles, guards, and centers: Tyron Smith, Trent Williams, Lane Johnson, Andrew Whitworth replaces Trent Williams. Joe Staley replaces Tyron Smith, and Dwayne Brown replaces. Dwayne Brown, who was the tackle that the Seahawks acquired from the Texans, replaces Lane Johnson. Guards, Zach Martin, Brandon Brooks. Brandon Brooks is replaced. Brandon Sheriff, Train Turner, and Larry Warford replaces Brooks. Trey Turner replaces Martin. Alex Mack and Travis Frederick. Travis Frederick is the only Cowboy from that offensive line, from the guys who I named before, who is attending the Pro Bowl. The other ones are not.
Let me just put it to you this way. There is one that I think definitely is a snub, and I've been saying this, and I have a decent case for him. I think, and I know he's a Cowboy, La'el Collins at tackle. If you paid attention throughout the whole season, he's been going up against all pros and Pro Bowlers on that right side. And he did a pretty decent job for his first year at tackle.
I want you to give me a scale of 1 to 10, because pretty decent job is very vague.
Yeah,
an 8 or 9.
La'el Collins did well considering the fact that, because Collins plays guard, but considering the fact that, what's his name, Tyron Smith was out for like 6 games. You know, he did pretty well.
Yeah, he should have gotten on there.
So defense. Everson Griffin, DeMarcus Lawrence, who had a beast of a season. Cameron Jordan, who had a beast of the season, and Michael Bennett replaces Everson Griffin because he had an injury. Defensive tackle, Fletcher Cox, Aaron Donald. Gerald McCoy, Mike Daniels. So Mike Daniels replaces Aaron Donald, and Lindeval Joseph replaces Fletcher Cox. Outside linebacker, Chandler Jones, Ryan Kerrigan, Anthony Barr. Thomas Davis replaces Anthony Barr because he was injured. Inside linebackers, Luke Kuechly, Bobby Wagner, and Deion Jones replaces Kuechly. Quan Alexander replaces Bobby Wagner. Cornerback, Xavier Rhodes, and Patrick Peterson, and Marshawn Lattimore, and Darius Slay. Free safety, the only one was Earl Thomas, the only one worthy enough, I'm guessing. Strong safety, Landon Collins, Malcolm Jenkins, Keanu Neal replaces Malcolm Jenkins. Harrison Smith replaces Landon Collins. I felt like Landon Collins had a great season last year, but this year, I mean, his whole team sucked. So, maybe he deserved it, but I felt like others could have at the same time. So, I'm surprised there aren't any Rams on this. There aren't any Rams cornerbacks or safeties on this roster because they were pretty damn good themselves as well.
Real quick. What would the percentage you would say of replacements are replacing the actual starters right now?
I'd say it's like I think it's like 25%. 25%.
I think it's a little bit higher than that. I hear a lot of replacements coming out of your mouth. A lot of replacements. I'm thinking it's more like 40%, almost half.
Maybe. Well, also because you have to understand that a lot of the players going to the Super Bowl can't go, and a lot.
So I understand that, but that's why they had it at the end of the year. So why do we have this?
I don't know. Well,
that's my question. I mean, like,
I'm going to move on to this topic real quick.
Just real quick. I'm sorry, Hank, but why do we have this? And do people get named? Do you have like a bunch of Pro Bowlers now just because someone has to replace someone? So everybody gets a huge payday, and the Pro Bowl doesn't really have that.
No. If you don't attend, then you.
But just because you're in the Super Bowl or you're hurt. There's reasons for these things. You're telling me I'm not going to get paid just because I have to play the Super Bowl or I got injured?
You're not. You're not going to get paid if you get injured. That's why you get replaced.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
You still get the Pro Bowl mark. But no, but you get the Pro Bowl marking.
I know, but you won't get paid.
Okay, but you still get a Pro Bowl marking.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's whatever at this point. No one cares.
The punter is Johnny Hecker. The kicker is Greg Zuerlein. Graham Gano replaces him. Pharaoh Cooper is the Rams return specialist, and Buda Baker is the special teams specialist. Which it's whatever. So do we want to discuss the some of the head coaching decisions to finish off this one?
Sure.
Yeah, we gotta move
on. So I just saw an article saying that the Giants were bringing in Pat Shurmur because David Gettleman and quote said that they brought him in because he was an adult.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Which makes me
actual
pure logic.
Which makes me think to myself that maybe Ben McAdoo was they hired him just because he was a human.
Hank, you're being specious right now.
Specious.
What you're saying humans can't have. No, I'm kidding.
So what you're telling me is, well, this obviously means that Bill Belichick is going to stay with the Patriots. He's not going to go anywhere else.
No.
He was never going to go anywhere.
So Pat Shurmur was a former Browns head coach. Didn't work out over there.
Most Browns coaches don't.
You think it's a good hire, guys? I don't think it's a good hire.
I think it's mediocre.
He has a 9-23 record with the Browns.
Better than you.
This is.
Listen, DJ.
This is whatever news comes out of New England that sounds bad. This is all it is.
Listen,
it's a trap.
Oh yeah, it's a trap. They're gonna say Gronk isn't gonna play, and then he's gonna play.
It's a trap.
Let me put it to you this way, DJ. Hold up, before we continue, the Browns have only one win in the amount of time I've been in college right now.
I think to be honest, I think he is the best. He is the best head coach hire so far. Just in the case that I mean, when Shurmur was the offensive coordinator with the Eagles, he was probably the most misused assistant that Chimp ever had, because what Chimp would do was he'd be like, just stick him in the booth and make him be the guy who helps me challenge the questionable calls by officials. We all know that Shurmur is the guy who made Sam Bradford Rookie of the Year with the Rams. So I think he's the best hire thus far. I don't judge what people did.
Well, to be fair, this was relatively a weak coaching class. Last year was.
Well, yeah, because we're going through guys like right now we had
John Gruden.
The Colts get Josh McDaniels as their head coach. The Titans just hired Mike Vrabel as their head coach. The Texans' old defensive coordinator.
He's gonna run a college offense too.
Chip Kelly comes back.
Yeah, the Cardinals hired Steve Wilkes, the Panthers' old defensive coordinator. The Lions are getting Patricia from the Patriots, which we'll talk about in a minute here. The Packers, they didn't fire their head coach, but they're doing some shifts. They fired their defensive coordinator and they moved Ted Thompson out of the GM position and hired Brian Gutentunks or something like that. They hired him internally.
Isn't he the guy who invented the printing press?
Yeah, something like that.
So guys, I real quick before we get into the head coaches, I just want to comment on one of the best coordinator signings. The Browns hired Todd Haley from the hated Pittsburgh Steelers. I love this hire.
They hired Todd Haley only because Hugh Jackson didn't know he needed to hire an offensive coordinator.
Oh, and I want to bring up another interesting hire. Not to just be like with the Cowboys, but like you do know Chris Richards from Seattle is in Dallas right now, and he will be the future defensive coordinator. After Ron Rivera retires.
I also heard the Dallas Cowboys reached into the bargain bin and found what's his name? The rabbit.
Kellen Moore.
Yes,
yep.
Kellen Moore. He's gonna be their quarterbacks coach.
Oh,
who knows?
You know who they should have hired? Who would help Dak out a lot? Mark Sanchez, who Dak said was the biggest help.
But how to eat a hot dog?
Dak Prescott, last year.
That's what he's going to teach him.
In 2000,
I can't believe he actually did that.
Really?
In 2000.
Why Rick Gannon?
Look at his pictures of that guy.
Let me just put it to you this way.
Hold on. Mark Sanchez. Dak Prescott said the biggest help for him in his rookie season was Mark Sanchez. He got more out of Sanchez than he did Tony Romo.
Mark Sanchez is probably a smart guy. He just probably couldn't translate the talent onto. Well,
same with Kellen Moore. You could say the same with Kellen Moore.
But that's hard to say though, because Mark Sanchez went to an AFC Championship game 2 years in a row.
Yeah. But to be fair, Kellen Moore is the winningest college
year.
So, that's college. Get out of here.
That's college. That doesn't mean
wait.
Nothing in the grown-up league. We're talking about the NFL here.
Yeah.
We're not talking about tiddlywinks.
Yeah.
So does that mean you have to play in the NFL in order to be an expert?
Well, I think if you're going to have to decipher
did Bill Belichick play in the NFL?
Offense, which Kellen Moore did not run a pro-style offense in college. That's why he put up so many points. That's why he didn't translate into the NFL. And that's why Carson Wentz, who ran a pro-style offense in college, translated very, very easily.
And then he tore his ACL. Sorry.
Cowboys fan.
Yeah. Sounds like a Cowboys fan.
So let's discuss. Do you want to just discuss? Let's discuss Matt Patricia, and then
I like it.
And then let's wrap it
up.
I love it.
So
So Matt Patricia, who looked like a regular guy like 5 years ago, and then he met Bill Belichick. He went to some really prestigious technical institute where he studied aeronautics with Bill Nye the Science Guy, and he now looks completely unrecognizable. I'm sure he's a genius, but he kind of went full caveman, you know.
He could like pose as Santa Claus.
But
if he does his pitch.
I really don't know that much about hiring head coaches. I don't have the best track record in predicting how a head coach is or how a guy is going to work out. So, you know, it really
I would just be careful.
It really is a crapshoot. It really is.
Can I tell you what makes me mad about this whole hiring situation? Mm-hmm. The fact that I read off 2 names right now of guys that are still playing And last week, we knew that Shermer was going to go from the Vikings to the Giants. Mm-hmm. Before the Vikings game this weekend, I don't think you should be able to hire any coaches until the Super Bowl is over. And
I agree.
I mean, how much? How much is playing into these guys' heads? I mean, I know they're professionals and everything, but like, you really don't think that this guy's maybe thinking like, "Oh shit, I'm going to be the head coach of a team next year. I'm going from offensive coordinator to head coach right now."
I think you should be allowed to do it, but the only difference is the fact that I think that you should not be if a team is still in the playoffs, if they're still in contention, then you shouldn't be allowed to interview. Like if a team went like 8-8 and you want to hire one of their coordinators, that should be okay. That should be fine. You know,
I guess you're not. Yeah, I can see that, but like I don't like the fact that like there's already both the offensive and defensive coordinator for the Patriots and the offensive coordinator for the Vikings. They're already known to be like the head coaches of other teams.
You know what's also really interesting? Jim Schwartz and John DeFilippo, the Eagles quarterbacks coach, was a guy who everyone was saying were going to be head coaches, and neither of them have even been interviewed. But I guess that Kermit the Frog drinking Lipton iced tea, that's none of my business.
That's not my business.
But I think we should wrap it up a little bit.
Yeah, let's wrap it up with this quick little thing here. Guys, I have a little bit of audio I want to share with you. So just give a little background before I show the audio. I want everybody to know that there was a watch party for the conference championships at Hooters in Campbell, California. Me and Josh visited, and the 95.7 The Game, which is the area sports talk radio station, they were there. I had a chance to speak with a few of them, and one of the guys from the morning show happened to mention me on the on air. So I'm the only Cleveland Browns fan. I'm the only Cleveland fan, I think, in a probably 10-mile radius at that point from where I'm at. But there are a few, but not enough to go out and show it off like I do out there. So here's the audio from that, and I'm going to play it for you right now. Enjoy.
But I don't think we have double bonus points. We'll give you the prize, and we'll also give you the bell too.
For a hint, go to Facebook. We actually posted a video about it.
Oh, okay, perfect. Shout out to the one Cleveland Brown fan who keeps hitting us up on the text line. I met this guy at Hooters at the Gridiron Gala on Sunday. He actually came up and said he was a Cleveland fan. He texts me all the time. Shocked that dude did not want to lay me out. I pretty much apologized to his face. I was like, look, I cannot believe you listen to the show. I don't know why I tear Cleveland apart every chance I get. It's really nothing personal. It's just, as a football organization, that is a situation like I could have 4 or 5 beers on the couch and do a better job than they do. It's not arrogance. They've proven they literally won 0 games last year. Coach, 1 win in the past 2 seasons. 1-31. Who couldn't do that? 1-31. I've coached some bad teams at the high school level, and I know how dreadful it can be. But to win 1 game in the NFL, and I'm not saying Hughes should be bounced because it's not his fault. You bring in a baseball numbers capologist to run your organization, you reap what you sow, and you get what you get when you make a move to Sashi Brown and bring him over from baseball. You've got picks 1 and 4. This should be a future-changing draft. It will, no doubt.
That was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that little segment.
The one Browns fan.
That's because there's probably only one Browns fan in the Bay Area. Let's be honest.
No, more. They just don't show it off like I do, man. I know. They don't go out there saying that they're a Browns fan. Like it's kind of like one of those.
When all the Browns fans were wearing like paper bags over their heads, you know who was selling the paper bags? It was DJ. DJ actually made bank on paper bags, and he didn't wear the paper bags. He was just like, I understand that if people want to wear them, it's a life choice, it's a life decision. They were born that way. They can do it.
It's it's very easily to be recognized now, I would say. So, and in the future, we might actually have the main guy who was talking. We might actually have him on the show. Actually, he actually agreed that he would come on and jump on and talk some sports with us. But yeah,
that's legit.
That's too legit to quit.
That is legitimate.
Awesome, guys. Well, I think this is a hell of a podcast. Got a lot of stuff out. We haven't been all four of us together in a minute, so it's good to get back at it. Just a quick synopsis. Everybody, we're going to have our show on Friday, the Friday night pregame with me and Josh, followed by on Saturday with Hank and Ricky. And here's the thing at the end of the day. What time is your guys' show going on?
Sometime.
Sometime. Okay.
Yeah, sometime. It's not.
We're gonna try. We're gonna try for 8:00 Friday night. You East Coast people, that would be 11 p.m. If you're still up and you want to listen to some more talk, you can go ahead and jump on the podcast. We'll be here. And then don't forget, we have our basketball show up and running. We just had our first really awesome podcast with me and Ricky on Monday nights. Typically, probably be around 7:30, 8:00 on that as well. So jump onto that if you want to listen to some basketball talk. Jump onto the Friday night show if you want to listen to some Barry Air talk. If you want to listen to some, what would you call your guys' show?
Sports and politics.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's like oil and water. That's like oil and water.
That's what I wrote.
Man, okay.
It's Ricky and Hank's talk.
Okay, well, I mean, to each his own at that point. So
we haven't really talked about politics recently, though. I don't think we've.
Yeah, thank Christ.
I mean, that just seems depressing.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, we're here for you. Like us on our Facebook page. Like us on YouTube. And, yeah. Guys, if you have anything else to say?
Yeah, don't eat the yellow snow.
No, do not. Also,
Is that for Minnesota people? Is that what you're trying to get at right now?
Yeah.
All right. I hope everyone has a very good night, and you know the times to watch us on the Facebook page or on YouTube or what have you. Everybody have a nice night, and good night.